I went to the bank to deposit my inheritance and the teller triggered a silent alarm. I went to the bank to deposit my inheritance check thinking that day was going to change my life. I had spent weeks processing my grandmother's death, a simple woman who baked cookies every Sunday and never talked about money. So when the lawyer handed me an envelope with a check for $827,000, I felt like everything was unreal. That Tuesday I walked into the bank with trembling hands, as if I were carrying a lottery ticket. The teller, a young woman with a name tag that said Brianna, took the check normally, but the moment she read the amount her face changed completely. Her eyes widened. She looked at me again, looked at the check once more, and then her hand disappeared under the counter in a way that was too automatic, too rehearsed. I understood something was wrong. I asked if there was a problem and she told me she just needed to verify some information due to the amount. She asked for my ID and examined it for way too long, comparing my face to the photo as if she doubted who I was. Then she walked away with the check toward the back while glancing over her shoulder. That's when I started noticing things that made me uncomfortable. The security guard moved toward the exit and kept watching me. Minutes passed and they attended to other people while I stood there not understanding what was happening. Until the manager appeared, a serious man in a suit, holding my check. He asked me to follow him to an office and the guard came in with us, closing the door. He asked me where that check had come from and I explained it was my inheritance, that my grandmother had passed away 3 weeks ago. He typed something on the computer, frowned, and told me something that froze me completely. According to their records, my grandmother had closed her account 4 months ago and withdrawn all the money in cash. I told him that was impossible because I had been at her funeral just weeks ago. But then he turned the screen toward me and showed me her photo next to a piece of information that broke my mind. My grandmother had died 14 months ago, not 3 weeks. In that moment I felt the floor disappear beneath me. I tried to explain about the funeral, the flowers, the people, my family crying, but nothing matched. They called the police and when they arrived they investigated everything. There was no record of the supposed lawyer. The funeral home where I had been had never performed that service. And my uncle, the one who had organized everything and called me weeks before, had been arrested months ago for inheritance fraud. That's when I understood it all. The funeral had been a staged production, the check was fake, and the plan was for me to deposit it, see that money reflected in my account, and then receive a desperate call asking me to return an error, to transfer real money before the bank noticed. And I would have done it without hesitation because I trusted my family. But the worst part wasn't realizing it was a scam. The worst part was understanding that my grandmother had died more than a year ago completely alone, because my own uncle made everyone believe I had left the country and no one could contact me. She asked for me in her final days, and I never got to say goodbye.